This is another true real estate nightmare by George A. Cahill. I recently won a settlement on a single-family home in Philadelphia. The seller of the home had it rented out to a long-term tenant who always paid the rent on time, per the seller whom I represented on the transaction. So the buyer/investor happily agreed to inherit the existing good-paying tenant. The settlement occurred around 60 days from the signing of the agreement of sale. We went through all the usual settlement bumps in the road to get to closing, as in the property inspection and the appraisal of the property, just to name a few. Hence, we finally settled on the transaction. Everything was hunky-dory with the buyer until about a week ago, when the buyer agent called me in a panic because the tenant all of a sudden stopped paying the rent. The buyer's agent requested from me, nervously, to please send him a copy of the seller's Philadelphia landlord license and other landlord-related documents that are required to be a legal landlord in Philadelphia. I'm sorry, I replied to the agent. Regretfully, I didn't handle the lease transaction with the present tenant. Therefore, I do not have any of the seller/landlord documents that you are requesting. I am assuming that the buyer of this investment property is a bit disappointed with the buyer agent that represented him in the purchase. This buyer and his agent now have their hands full, to say the least, in my opinion. And it appears an eviction is imminent. As they say in Latin, caveat emptor, aka let the buyer beware. So if you're an existing or potential real estate buyer/investor looking for an investment property in Philadelphia, please contact me directly to discover how could this nightmare been avoided. Sincerely, George Cahill, 215-783-8731. info@georgecahill.com. www.georgecahill.com. My company info is in the comments below. Info deemed reliable, never guaranteed.